Welcome to Lincoln Currency. Have you ever looked closely at the pennies in your pocket? That small copper coin that often gets tossed aside, dropped into jars, or ignored at the bottom of a drawer might be worth a fortune, yes, even up to hundreds of millions of dollars. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating mysteries and hidden treasures of the numismatic world, the 1975 Lincoln penny, particularly the enigmatic ones marked with what collectors and enthusiasts call KQ, or M mint marks, sometimes claimed to be worth an astonishing $888 million. While this number might sound outrageous, let's unpack the history, possibilities, and the allure behind such a claim, and why even a humble 1-cent coin from 1975 could hold immense historical and speculative value. Let's start with the basics. The 1975 Lincoln cent was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies. In fact, more than 5.4 billion were minted in Philadelphia, and over 4.5 billion in Denver, which uses the D mint mark. San Francisco also contributed with proof coins marked with an S. But here's where things get interesting. Some coin enthusiasts have reported strange markings on a small number of 1,975 pennies, markings that appear as KQ, or a solitary M, under Lincoln's shoulder or near the rim, sometimes lightly stamped, sometimes misaligned. These are not recognized mint marks. The U.S. Mint only uses P, D, S, W, and historically, other known marks, but never KQ or M. So, what are they? There are a few theories. One theory is that these markings are a result of a minting error or post-mint damage, possibly added later either deliberately by rogue employees, accidentally during the die. Have you ever walked past a penny on the sidewalk and thought, it's just a cent? What if I told you that one of those seemingly worthless copper coins from 1980 could be worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of Lamborghinis, maybe even more than the net worth of some celebrities? That's right. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1980 Lincoln cent, a coin that many collectors now believe could be worth up to, brace yourself, $888 million in certain collector fantasies. Sounds crazy? Let's break down why this humble coin, weighing just 3.11 grams, has captured the imagination of coin collectors, treasure hunters, and YouTube viewers around the world. In 1980, the Lincoln penny was still being minted with 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that would soon change forever. Just 2 years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major shift to zinc-based pennies coated in copper. Why? Because the rising cost of copper made each cent cost more than a cent to produce. But in 1980, that hadn't happened yet. So the pennies minted in that year were still made of mostly copper, meaning they're already worth more than face value just based on metal content alone. But that's just the beginning. What makes the 1980 Lincoln cent really fascinating is the potential for rare errors, unique varieties, and the mythos surrounding the mint mark versions, especially those from Denver, marked with a tiny D, and those from San Francisco, marked with an S primarily for proof coins. These tiny letters, often overlooked, tell us where the coin was made, and sometimes, they can hint at hidden fortune. Let's start with the Denver Mint. Coins with the D mint mark from 1980 are quite common, hundreds of millions were made. But collectors are on the hunt for anomalies, coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even transitional errors that somehow sneaked through quality control. One such penny with a dramatic double die error, where the details on Lincoln's face and the text on the coin appear duplicated due to a misalignment during striking, sold at auction for thousands. And that's just for a known, documented error. But there are rumors, unconfirmed yet widely circulated in online forums, that a few 1980 D cents exist with a previously unknown minting anomaly so dramatic, so rare, that it has never appeared again, and that these coins could be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even more. Now let's talk about the 1980s Lincoln cents. These were struck in San Francisco as proofs, coins made specifically for collectors. Shiny, mirror-like surfaces. Immaculate strikes. While the mintage was far lower, these proof coins are still relatively accessible. But again, condition is everything. A flawless, PR70 Deep Cameo 1980s penny. That's the top of the top, perfect under magnification. Can fetch a few $1,000s among serious collectors. But here's where the fantasy, and the frenzy, really begins. Over the past few years, stories have surfaced online about a mythical 1980 penny, sometimes said to be a Denver Mint, sometimes San Francisco, that sold privately for over $888 million. The details? Murky. The authenticity? Unverified. But the story keeps spreading. In some versions, the coin is made of pure gold, a minting error so outrageous it would rock the numismatic world. In other versions, it's a double denomination error, struck over a dime, or even a quarter, creating a coin that's half penny, half something else entirely. These are extremely rare, but they have happened in other years. So, while the $888 million figure is likely a myth or a piece of viral marketing genius, the idea that a rare coin, even a penny, could be worth a fortune isn't entirely far-fetched. Let's shift to the real-world market. On eBay, Etsy, and coin auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, 1980 Lincoln cents pop up all the time. Most are worth a few cents, maybe $1 or $2 if they're in exceptional uncirculated condition. But once in a while, a rare variety will emerge. Recently, a 1980 penny with a dramatic die clash, where the images of the obverse and reverse were imprinted on the wrong sides due to a minting malfunction, sold for several $1,000s. That's life-changing money for something you might find in your pocket change. Even beyond errors, high-grade coins are incredibly valuable. Take this in, a regular 1980 penny, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, graded MS67 red. That's a mint state coin with bright red copper color, nearly perfect. Can be worth hundreds, even into the low thousands depending on the market. Only a handful have ever graded that high. The demand among collectors for top pop specimens, the absolute finest known examples, drives these prices up. There's also the psychological thrill. Collecting pennies isn't just a hobby. It's a treasure hunt. A daily game. Every time you get change at the store, every jar of coins you dump into a sorting machine, every drawer you clean out, you could be sitting on a rare cent, completely unaware. That's what makes the story of the 1980 Lincoln cent so compelling. It's not just about history. It's about hope. It's about that dream of pulling a forgotten coin from circulation, one that the mint accidentally made different, and suddenly being part of numismatic legend. Let's rewind a bit. The Lincoln cent first entered circulation in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, Abraham Lincoln, and it was designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, were controversially removed from the first coins and later added back in smaller letters on the reverse. That history continues through 1980. Same design. Same president. But over time, subtle changes and anomalies have created endless points of interest for collectors. Some people are even hoarding 1980 pennies in bulk, buying bags of unsearched rolls in hopes of finding a minting error. Whole online communities dedicate themselves to roll hunting, buying boxes from banks, sorting through every single cent, looking for varieties that might slip through the cracks. It's slow work. It's not always glamorous. But when someone finds a gem, it all becomes worth it. There's even speculation, albeit extremely rare and often unconfirmed, that some 1980 cents were accidentally struck on foreign planchets, intended for coins like Canadian cents or other denominations. These mistakes would be nearly impossible to detect without weighing the coin or examining its exact dimensions under magnification. If confirmed, they'd be worth a fortune. So where does this idea of the $888 million penny come from? Is it just hype? A misunderstanding? Or maybe, just maybe, the truth hasn't been fully uncovered yet. Could a one-of-a-kind mint error from 1980 exist in private hands? Could it have been sold at a private auction for a staggering sum, with NDAs and collectors' secrecy keeping the truth hidden? It's unlikely. But in the world of numismatics, stranger things have happened. One thing's for sure, the 1980 Lincoln cent is no ordinary penny. It represents a crossroads in American coinage history. The end of the solid copper era. the prelude to a shift in materials, methods, and minting philosophy. It's a symbol of a time when pennies still carried weight, literally and figuratively. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone who just found a shiny penny in your change tray, you're now part of the story. So next time you see a 1980 penny, stop. Take a second look. Hold it to the light. Flip it over. Check the mint mark. Examine the edges. Feel its weight. Because what you're holding might be more than just 1 cent. It might be a piece of American history. It might be a rare error. It might be a collector's dream. Or, who knows, maybe, just maybe, you've found the mythical $888 million dollar coin. And if you have, don't spend it all in one place. Would you like a shorter version or this adapted into a voice-over ready format?